Welcome to the Drummers Debate Podcast, episode 2. And today we have Chris Decarmine.
What's up, man?
How you doing?
Good. How you feeling?
Chilling, man. Today's topic is how to get the gig. So tell me, in your experience with different bands and different artists, how do you try to get the gig?
For me, when it came down to certain things about trying to be a part of the team, it's not just a gig. You want to see it as a part of the team. And what I mean is by, everybody just focus on, I'm getting the gig. I just want the gig. Instead of being like, all right, I got the gig, but now what are responsibilities to keep the gig? What are responsibilities for the gig? You know what I'm saying? There's a difference between, playing on stage and maintaining that responsibility as a drummer. But there's also responsibilities when you're not on stage. And you also have to represent yourself and the management team and the artist itself. So, getting the gig is one thing, yes, but also see it as being a part of the team. So instead of just seeing it as like, let me get the gig, folks see it as part of the team. So just like any football team, soccer team, basketball team, they have relationships. That's one thing you definitely want to execute, keep in mind. And, like any basketball team, they have, like they have their meetings of what they're going to do, who's going to do the pick, things like that. Like they know their plays. You know what I'm saying? As far as musicians, you want to know their music. You want to understand their music. And you want to know their blueprint for you as a musician and the drummer. And when you go and do rehearsals or do gigs like that, they be like, yeah, he did good on the gig. Like he knew the hits, he knew all that stuff. And also he's an all around good cat with us. Let's keep him.
That's cool. Mm-hmm. Now, say for example, like Kendrick Lamar, he was looking for a drummer, and you had the opportunity to try out to be part of the team. Mm-hmm. Now, say you go into the studio, you're about to rehearse with them. Now, are you playing exactly what the track needs, or are you chopping it up, trying to show off your skills, or are you mixing it up? Like, what's the balance between that?
When it comes to that situations like that, when you first introduce yourself as wanting to be a part of the team, it's always best to, stick to the record, play the record, play the track what it is, as best way as possible. Like you see guys that has rolling pads and different triggers that helps them, to imitate the music or imitate the track as best as possible. Once you have that relationship with the songs, you know how the song goes, note for note, then you can kind of stretch out a little bit. But a lot of times, when it comes down to people like Kendrick Lamar and, cats like that really sticks to the track you want to play just exactly the way the track is.
That's cool. Mm-hmm. So you just going in basically focusing on exactly what the track needs, not trying to overplay, not trying to show off, but just basically hitting the drums exactly like the track.
Yeah, pretty much. There's no need to overplay, especially when you're playing with tracks. If it was meant for you to overplay, then the tracks would be overplaying. You know what I mean? So instead of just, your job there is to try and imitate what the track is asking for it to do in a live setting. You know what I mean? You don't have to be the greatest. There's so many things happening on the track. There's so many triggers, so many, samples happening on the track. You can do but so much. But if you can find that foundation, that backbone for the track, keep it and lock it in, everything else is butter. Everything else is your imagination, the proper fill, the proper placement. The approach, definitely. Approach is very important too. And besides all that, that's pretty much, the whole thing of it right there.
That's cool. Now you had the opportunity to play with a soul legend, Roy Ayers.
Yeah.
How did you come about getting that gig?
Yeah. Oh man, Roy Ayers, Godfather in your soul. That's amazing. It's a crazy story actually. Well, what it was, I was in college at the time, and I was trying to get my name in and things like that, and I came across the MD for Roy Ayers at the time. and me, him.
MD meaning what would it mean?
Music director.
Oh, music director. Okay.
Yeah, music director for Roy Ayers, and we established each other. He enjoyed it. He liked my playing. I liked his playing, so we became friends in the beginning. And then he pretty much was like, "Look, I would like to use you real soon for some of my stuff," because he's touring too. His name is Mark Adams.
Okay.
He has his own projects. He got a new project that just came out. I'm on the track with him. You know, he got a new video out. You know, called "Fight the Good Fight," which is awesome work he did. And with that, he was like, "Hey man, I got some stuff happening, and I got some things with Roy. I would like to use you soon. I want you to develop yourself as a musician and a drummer. Just keep going, stay in contact."
Since college?
Since college.
Damn, that was a long time ago.
That was a very, very long time ago.
Wow.
Very long time ago.
And it took like how many years for you to? How many years after college did you start touring with him?
Oh my gosh. I would say roughly around maybe like 10 years.
That's crazy.
10, 11 years.
So you left a great impression.
Yeah.
10 years? That's crazy.
Yeah, at the beginning he was like, "Oh man, I see something in you. I want you to manifest it, to mature it." So I did. I started playing with, you know, different bands, different artists, and, you know, touring and things like that to develop myself, to prepare myself for that opportunity. So, you know, that's pretty much how it is, right? With that, you know, you want to prepare yourself. So
That's cool. So say for example, I had the opportunity to play with Jay-Z or something like that. Now, you know Jay-Z's drummer is Tony Royster, which is a beast.
yes.
His pocket is just so clean, and knowing the abilities that he has, he holds back so much playing that gig. Now, do you think, as a drummer, playing a gig with a team that holds your skills back, holds the fact that you're not basically a spotlight in the band, or is it just an opportunity, like you want to get paid, you're thinking of it as like, this is the gig I want, I know this is a good career path for me, I want to get paid even though I'm holding back my skills and I can't do as much as I possibly can? What do you think about that? Like, what should I do? Should I take every opportunity to play those hits, or every opportunity to play a solo, or just stay in the pocket and then just improvise on that pocket?
That's as far as the word pocket, that's a strong word. The pocket is in a, you know, definition where it can go either way. You know, to in any type of genre of music, especially like in jazz or whatever. You know what I mean? But when you play for a situation like that, like I said, you want to be a team player, because, you know, you as a drummer, and, you know, you got hired because you got skills and you're dope. But realistically, you're not the only one on the stage. Bass player is probably killing because he's on stage with Jay-Z along with you. The keyboard player is the same thing. Guitar player, and then some. Even down to people that's off stage that's managing for Jay-Z, they are professionals. So you have no other choice but to maintain that professionalism. You are a part of a big brand product, so you have to be in that big brand product mind, that mentality. So, you know, it's a strong locomotive, a well-oiled machine. So you might as well just play the part. Now, we all know, you know, Tony Royster is an amazing drummer. He's dope. But with him playing with that, he knew for a fact that, all right, I can't really go in, I can't really go crazy, because, you know, this is business now. Now, when it comes outside that, then you got, like, you know, your own solo project, you got your own clinics and things like that or whatever. You know, you probably head into open jams to let yourself loose a little bit, to show that you have more than what you are doing on stage with these artists.
Right. Yeah, I had the opportunity recently to play a show with Jaco Pastorius' son.
Okay.
I wasn't in the band, but I was playing in the band after.
He was on the card.
I was on the bill, yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, I was so impressed with his skills. First of all, I didn't even know Jaco Pastorius had a son that played bass.
Oh yeah.
And not only does he play bass, but he plays just like his father.
Oh yeah, of course.
He is crazy.
Of course.
And I'm like, damn, he's up there showing off his chops. And I'm like, I'm playing right after him, but I want to show off my chops too. So maybe he'll look at me and be like, "Yo, I want you to be part of the band." Like, come, but I can't do that. And I was so restricted. I was like, "Damn, I gotta sit here and basically play in the pocket or play the grooves to the song. There's no solo parts." And honestly, after he finished playing, I was like, "Yo, I'm ready to go home." There was so much pressure on us. I was like, "Damn, nah, man, I don't know if we should do this." I was just kidding. I was still gonna play the gig.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like situations like that when you want to be part of something so bad and you don't know how to do it. And the only way you could show it is to show your skill. And I'm like, there's no way I could do that, even though I could do way more than what I'm doing for that set. Yeah, so I think playing for the team is perfect. Like for that gig, I played exactly what I was supposed to play. I didn't overplay.
Right.
And the music sounded exactly how it should have been.
Good.
But at the same time, I was just like, damn, I should have went crazy at some parts.
It's a lot of guys is like that. It's a lot of guys that think that they should go insane just to get noticed. But the thing is, there's a lot of guys that know how to go insane. So what's the point? There's a lot of guys that has grooves. There's a lot of guys that has, that awesomeness. So this, especially, you coming from New York, there's a lot of awesome musicians out here in New York,
definitely.
like blazing. So it's like, all right, what's the point? You know what I mean? So, but realistically, your job there is to create the music the way it is. Have some type of texture, have some type of balance to the music, to where it can pop out, to where it may, notice somebody. Because a top professional, they're gonna know for a fact when you go into, studio setting or a live concert setting, your job there is to play the music. Your job there is to maintain the groove. Your job there is to, like I said, play the music. And God, is that you?
Hold on.
I'm telling him about it. I'm telling him about it. Hold on.
Sorry about that.
Who that is?
That's my wife.
Your wife? She upstairs? Tell her I said hi. Hello.
All right. That's off. All right,
top professional is going to know how the music is going to sound like, how it's supposed to sound like. And if you chopping for days on the music, you ain't fooling nobody. You're going to be like, oh man, he got chops, he blazing. But like, where's the texture of the song at?
Exactly. I agree.
Where's
100%.
texture? Like because you got to think of it like this. For me, I play simple fills. And I take those simple fills and I expand it. Some may be repetitive, some may not be repetitive, but some may, but it's musical. But the thing is that if you're on stage and, and you wondering what it sounds like out there, that should be like a number one thing you want to think about, because of the fact of that, there could be a lot of musicians, a lot of drummers in there, but majority of the people are not there for the drummer or the musicians. They're there for the artist. So if you there doing something so technical to the point where it's like, oh, all right, that sounds cool, but I don't get it. But if you play something so simple, they be like, oh, okay, yeah, it's open space, it's simple, I get it. You know what I mean? Not everybody out there is musicians, not everybody out there is drummers in the crowd or things like that. They just want to hear the music and make it, and your job is to make it, pop out to them. So simple fills is definitely number one thing that I would do. And, playing the chops would be secondary. Definitely would be secondary. Especially, I use the chops in a certain area where it's higher energy or it's an effective situation. But to get noticed by using your chops, I mean, that's old news. Been there and done that.
Right.
That's nothing new.
Right, it would just come naturally, depending on the gig, the situation.
Chops been out for years.
Yeah, gospel chops.
Gospel chops been out for years. I mean, we're talking since, Big Sick Catlett and Buddy Rich in those times, and Gene Cooper and, Art Blakey and Elvin Jones and all them dudes. They've been doing these stuff we doing right now. They've been doing that.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Nothing new. So now it's time for a different approach, a different angle.
Now I know we we grew up together and we played marching band.
Yeah, I remember.
And that definitely improved. Like, rudiments completely changed the way I play drums in general. I think every drummer should know their rudiments.
Of course.
Now, during those 10 years before you played with Roy Ayers, what did you do to develop your skills?
Almost everything. Just about, almost everything. I mean, I hung around a lot of these big boy names. I practiced a lot. I went to a lot of these open jams in the city. I stayed in contact with a lot of these big boys. I hung around them, figured things out, trying to, make me. And what I mean is like, it's like, the Frankenstein effect. So pretty much for me, it's like, you're just a drummer that wants to, like, be like a lot of these dudes. All right, so I'm going to talk to this cat. I'm going to talk to this cat. I'm going to talk to this cat. I'm going to talk to this guy. Love this guy play for this. Oh.
Just network all over the place.
Just talk to these dudes that you want to be like, or try and get involved, or, try and meet these dudes that's doing something that's making things happen. And, you're pretty much taking all this information, you're talking to them, you're watching them play, and you just creating your own Frankenstein to who you are is who you are. You know what I mean? And then you collaborate that to, these different bands that you're playing with. And, if you got the proper tutelage, it will definitely benefit you in the long run.
Definitely, I agree, 100%. So. Now, before we go, I want to ask you, what 3 drummers would you say describes your style? Even though we're all unique in our own different ways, but what were your 3 biggest influences?
Oh, man. Honestly, for me, I mean, we all know about, cats like, Dennis, Vinny, Tony, and all them dudes, you know what I mean? All them, Aaron Spears, all them.
Those are exactly my 3 biggest influences. That's crazy.
All them amazing players. Yeah. But to keep it real, it's the dudes that took me underneath their wing and molded me. Because
Mr. Cornegay.
Of course, that's one of the guys, man. He definitely, God rest his soul, Ron Cornegay, he definitely was a big impact on my playing. Some of the stuff he did was like, if he was alive to this day, I don't know what he would change the game. The things that he done, I'd be scared.
Yeah,
he's like a freak of
beast.
nature. He's like a freak of nature. Oh my gosh. I mean, I remember I saw the tape with him as a young kid, man, in high school. And he was playing, he was battling Tito Puente, actually. And he
I remember that.
He was battling Tito Puente, and them two, and now Tito Puente, he's a bad cat. I mean, God rest his soul, he's bad too. And them two together, they was going in. And then Tito Puente just had to stop playing, turned over to Ron with his sticks and just bowed down to him because Ron was just on a whole nother galaxy, whole nother dimension. I was like, oh my gosh, like, whew, amazing. So Ron Cornegay is definitely one of those dudes. This dude named Anthony Brown, who was from Queens. He's also a big impact on my playing. I mean, he has one of the best pockets in gospel that I've heard. You know what I mean? Like, when I first saw him play, his pocket is amazing. Like, he still plays, but he also plays keys. But when he plays drums, it's like, he makes you feel it. He got that attitude. He got that awesome flair. That
drummer swag.
Yeah, he has that. He'll make you feel that, man. Oh, amazing. Another dude, actually a young lady I learned from after that was Camille Gaynor. Camille Gaynor definitely helped me out. She gave me my first club gig when I was a kid. She gave me my first club gig, you know what I mean? At the time, she was playing for J.T. Taylor from Kool and the Gang. So she had to go on the road, and then she called me to fill in, and I filled in, and it was a big experience. So, I mean, it definitely, opened up my ears and my eyes more to the whole club scene in New York. And then I learned from one of the gospel greats in New York, man, Mr. Eddie Hayward.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Eddie Hayward. I got a chance to learn from that dude. I remember going to his choir rehearsals, hanging with him at the crib. He was showing me old school videos.
Oh, that's crazy cool that you got to chill with him.
Yeah, it was the best thing, man. Like, he opened up my eyes a lot. Um, he he opened up my brain, certain parts of my brain of how colors can work on the drums, and how to play with a lot of heart, play with such passion to the music, and to the drums especially. He's like, what I mean, I always give that dude respect.
Yeah, I remember back in the day watching his videos on Drummer World.
Yeah,
He had not just gospel, but his hip hop was just
hmm
insane.
oh yeah,
And it wasn't even like it was on the meter, but like the things he would do off the meter and then come back into the groove was just crazy. I looked up to that guy a lot too, because us growing up in Far Rockaway,
hmm
we have hip hop engraved into us.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
So hip
Oh
hop
yeah.
is basically like our foundation of
Oh, yeah.
beats and
Of
music.
course.
Probably when we hit the drum set, our first beat was like boom, got. Who didn't do that? Like,
Yeah, definitely.
So
Definitely.
yeah, I love those guys. But before we go, I just want to say, man, it's a pleasure to be here with you because.
Oh, let me say one more
Okay,
name. I
okay,
gotta
okay,
say
okay.
one
Go
more
ahead,
name.
go ahead, go ahead.
This
Go
guy,
ahead.
this guy here. If please, y'all cats gotta check him out. This dude name, this dude I still learn from to this day. His name is Jermaine Parrish. Man, that's like one of my top favorite guys from New York. He's straight from Brooklyn. He's an amazing drummer. He played for just about everybody. You know what I mean? Alicia Keys, Joe, Kelly Price, just to name a few. Like, this guy is amazing. So he knows music. Like, he has such a smooth flow with his playing, such an awesome technique. And these are the guys that I look up to. These are the guys that brought me underneath their wing. These are the guys that would be like, nah, Chris, you shouldn't do that. Of course, all right, give it a shot. Or, you know what I mean? Kept it real with me from day one.
They taught you how to get that gig.
They taught me. They taught me
that's
how
cool.
to get that gig, man.
Do you think we covered everything about? I think we covered everything about how to get the
course.
gig. That's
Of course.
basically everything. Like,
That's of course. I mean,
play part. You got to be part of the team.
You gotta be
Just
part
like
of the team.
basketball, just like any sport, just like anything, any business.
Yeah, because everybody wants to be a hot shot. They're like, I got the gig, so I'm a hot shot, so I can, act the way I want to act. But still, at the same time, you're representing not only yourself, you're also representing the team as well. When you're not playing, then you're not on road, or you're not on stage. You have that, especially, you developing that knowledge with other musicians and being on the road and learning things. So it's like, if you're so unhumble and stuck on yourself, you know what I mean, your head is so, blocked in from new information, you think you have it all back down, you're not going to learn anything else.
Yeah, I'm kind of happy you came here not cocky. Like, oh, I'm the drummer for Roy Ayers.
I mean, it's still amazing to me to this day, because Roy Ayers, he had, Roy Ayers, from what I understand, Roy Ayers is like one of the major, neo soul jazz gigs to have in New York. And then when I started researching, I realized he had awesome drummers like, Dennis Davis, that played with Stevie Wonder. Actually, I think Dennis Davis is the drummer that played on Stevie Wonder's song "All I Do."
Wow.
Yeah, Dennis Davis, he's like one of my big influences. Like, the way he does chops and things like that, play music, he's a nutcase. Another drummer that everybody should know by now, his name is Lee Pearson. Dope. I mean, played with Spyro Gyra, played with Roy, plays with Chris Bodie right now. He's an amazing showmanship. And one of my other favorite drummers, God rest his soul, Ricky Lawson. Ricky Lawson's first gig was Roy Ayers. Then he moved to L.A. Then he started, working with the Yellow Jackets. And from there, he started doing, I think Michael Jackson. Then he did Phil Collins and things like that. So
Wow, it's a big gig.
So it's like, just to be the fact of me in the present right now, and knowing in the past he had these greats along with the jazz soul legend like that, I'm like, all right, yeah, let me turn this up a notch. Let me really stay up on this, because this is something amazing here. So with that, I'm just, thank God, and I'm very humble and grateful for Roy and for Mark Adams for giving me this opportunity to go along with this journey with them. So it definitely helped me out a lot.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So like I was saying before, I just want to say it's a pleasure to be here with you because all the dudes that I grew up with that I was playing music with or playing drums with don't play no more. So it's just cool to have somebody that I grew up with that's still here, still grinding, still loving the music. Cause one thing I learned, and I'm pretty sure you learned too, you do music for the passion. You don't do it for the money.
No, I mean,
you do it for the passion.
You know, when you were a kid, you know how when you first started, you be looking at these drummers, you're like, yo, what is he doing? Like, what is that? I want to try and do that. I want to learn that. And the thing is I make sure that, you know, I maintain that innocence of wanting to be a drummer and still want to keep that innocence of a child, because once you get into this business, then all of a sudden it starts to become about money. You know what I mean? You don't always want it to be about money. You want to keep that attitude of like, yo, what was he doing? Like, what is that? Like, I gotta figure that out because that's just crazy. Like, what? You know what I mean? That sounds amazing. Like, I gotta learn that. Like, you just want to develop your vocabulary as a drummer and a musician. So, you know what I mean? That should be always first. Secondary, I mean, we all need to have money. And you can't live without it. Yeah, I get all that. But it's like your innocence and your passion to want to play drums got you to make money. So what you gonna do? Try and focus on making money first and be a musician drummer later?
That's true.
It's backwards.
So you're trying to say that if the local church just calls you right now to play a free gig, you'd be there?
I've done it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you did.
I've done it. I've done it. Like even at my home church, like, you know, because I'm a member of St. John's Baptist Church in Far Rockaway, Pastor J.D. Williams. Usually I try and be there from time to time if I'm not too busy, but sometimes my friend Lindsey Williams call me up saying, yo man, what you doing? Like, I'm just chilling. He was like, yo, can you just come hang out real quick, come play this service? Yeah, come through, bada bing, bada boom. If he trying to give me money, I'll be like, nah man, that's not even necessary.
This is for God.
It's all good. This is my church home. Everything is cool. Everything is cool, man. So I have my days where I do play for free. I have my days where they would pay me. But if I was making sick money like that, I wouldn't even ask for a dime.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even ask for a dime.
I mean, me, I don't have a big gig, so I need a job. I can't be.
No, I get it, bro.
I got a job. I got to hustle and do my music, but I have a passion for music. That's why I'm doing it. But you're lucky to be one of the fortunate musicians to live off of this. Like, you know,
it's not easy. It's not an easy road because, you know, the industry, as far as musicians is concerned, is getting smaller. It's getting a lot smaller. The music, the live music is we're trying to survive here in New York with the live music.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's not.
People are disappointed with the scene here for some reason.
Yeah, because, you know, one of the baddest music spots in the country is New York. You know what I mean? But it's like it's not only happening here; it's happening everywhere else. You know, for some reason, it's the industry is creating a way to where musicians are not gonna have much happening right now.
Why do you think that is? Do you think it's because like the school system doesn't fund music programs and things like that?
I mean, that plays a part of it. You gotta think about it in a mighty big way. You know what I mean? Like when we was in high school, we had a pretty good music program.
Yeah, definitely.
Now it's not there no more.
Yeah.
You
That's
understand
crazy.
what I'm saying?
Nothing.
So,
I don't think I know any public schools that has a music program right now. No, not that I know of.
Not that I know of, unless you go to some of these heavy duty main academies and things like that or whatever. But you know, for me, you know what I mean, ain't no better schooling than going to church. For me, ain't no better schooling than going to church. So even though I didn't really start in church, I mean, I sung on the choir first. Like I didn't start playing drums in church.
Yeah, I remember you used to dance too. I remember you used to dance.
Yeah, I mean, I was a musical kid. I was like, I just like the entertainment.
A little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. Yeah, I used all that crazy stuff. But you know, I didn't start playing drums till I got to high school. And then from high school, you know, while I'm in high school, I tried it out in the church, and I just put both together. So that's really what, you know, kept me in the forefront. You know what I mean? You know, Ron Cornegay, Mr. Barry Domfort, Mrs. Domfort. You know what I mean? Those three really, introduced me to a whole nother world at a very young age.
Me too.
You know what I mean?
Ron Cornegay was a huge influence to me.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's just, take what they gave me and just run with it. Don't water it down once you start meeting these other dudes and they're playing the same way and they sound the same way. Forget all that. Take what you know, magnify it, magnitude it, so you can just be different. Because you're going to be different because you're not learning the same things that everybody else is on the same wavelength. You know what I mean? That's not what musicians were supposed to be. That's not what drums were supposed to be like. Sound the same.
Right.
It wasn't like that back in the days with these jazz cats. They had their own type of style, but it was so different that it was unique to the point where like, yo, I gotta work with this dude. I gotta work with this dude. You know how many dudes Stanley Clarke works with because of the fact that they just so different that they sound ill. They don't sound the same.
I can imagine. Stanley Clarke is a session. He's in every session. Like if you look at his discography, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, of course. So it's like you got to think about it. He had Ronald Bruner. He had
Ronald Bruner.
Yeah, he had Mike.
Is he still doing sessions and stuff like that?
I think I don't know too. I don't
He
too,
was a
too much.
beast growing up. I haven't heard from him in a while.
But I know he ain't gonna stop playing drums. I know that.
Oh
for
yeah,
sure.
of course,
So,
of course not.
I mean, but I'm saying he had Ronald Bruner, he had Mike Mitchell, and now he has this cat Sharik Tucker, who is also from New York, and all these dudes is blazing drummers, but they're all different in their own way. You know what I'm saying? So you can tell the difference. You can hear the difference in their playing. You know what I mean? So that's what's missing. A lot of dudes sound the same nowadays, but it's a matter of you just taking that time out and just sitting down and remodeling yourself as a musician or as a drummer.
Definitely. I agree. Well, thanks for coming. This was the second episode of Drummers Debate featuring Chris Decarmine, the main man right here.
Yes.
Thank
you so much, man. Appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.
See you guys next time.
Take care, guys. Bye.